Hi, and welcome back to Wellness Watch. You invited us back for our third show, so we must be doing something right.
We're doing great.
We are hearing some fun things from people, both in person and phone or email. Just they enjoyed our senior show, and I think we can do more with that because it's a huge subject. Patty has been doing some teaching at the Resource Aging Center up in Centerra. And that's a whole new world for you, just that kind of a...
Being in that facility,
Yeah.
it's new, yeah. Working with the population I love the seniors and working with them, and having the opportunity to work at the Aging Resource Center is just, it's awesome. It's a fun group, they're very positive, and they really believe in what they're doing.
And they choose to be there. That's why you know you've got a good audience. No one's dragging them.
It's a lot of fun.
But when you're doing, and I'm promoting you now with this your new wellness game plan.
Thank you.
As a practice and as a practitioner and guide and coach, you're going to have to be able to deal with every age because you're going to be visited by every age, hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, it keeps it interesting if you're not all on one. And the population now of my color hair is very huge. Yeah,
it's a big audience. And you know what's really nice about it, Judy, is that so many more seniors are getting involved with activity and staying busy and realizing that it's really important. So yeah, last show was great to talk about, but I feel that we really have more that we can get into in time.
Totally.
And from my business, the senior population is a population I really, really enjoy working with.
And people my age, which will go unmentioned at the moment, I don't care. I'm 74.
Well, today's Judy's birthday.
I'm 74 today.
Happy birthday.
But the fact is, we have all been a more active 50, 60, 70. Yeah. So by the time 80 comes along, it's not that new. You've done it. You just need to adapt and modify to what your limitations might be.
You have things in place.
So you're going to need that experience, and kiddies as well, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
We're going to talk today about habits because the habit of being healthy is a habit, and you have to commit yourself to it. You have to decide you want to do it and do it hopefully 100% and jump in. And we talk about some of the habits we've talked about that in fitness or eating or in every phase of wellness. You need habits.
So life is really made up of a lot of habits, and even brushing your teeth is a habit, or if you have coffee in the morning or tea, whatever. So life is about habits, and really it's about trying to figure out where those habits need to maybe be changed or modified or adjusted. And often, Judy, I think we've all heard the statement of, I'm too busy and I can't find time, and really being busy, I can't find time, in my mind, is an excuse for not doing. And that if it was a habit and it was something that you were committed to or believed in, you would find the time and you would make it happen.
It's a commitment. I mean, it's a commitment to yourself because you're the person you're doing it for, as well as those around you whose lives are better when you're healthier and can be more active with them. I notice that with grandchildren. I can get on the floor and throw them around. Sounds like I'm talking potato sacks.
I'm sure they enjoy that.
I like being able to just play what they're playing. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I hadn't started a long time ago.
So really, if you think about it, habits are who you are. And each person has control of their own habits. So you as an individual pick and choose whether you want to do something. So if you decide, and you've been encouraged maybe somehow, and we talked about our buddies, so suddenly all of a sudden you have your buddy and you're putting into place the habit, you're choosing to do that. You're making that conscious effort to make sure that it happens. And there's lots of ways to think about habits. So a habit isn't just, I'm going to exercise more. That's a goal. That's a statement. That's something that you want to put in place. But to help to get to that point about making it a habit is actually, okay, well, I want to exercise more. Well, what does that mean? It means I'm going to put my sneakers in the car or my gym bag in the car so that there's a pattern getting you to your goal so that you're really putting pieces in place to make that habit become more conscious. You're more aware of it. So
you're
if I
showing
know
yourself the commitment by doing that,
Right.
and then you follow up by
follow up.
using it.
Yeah, so I put my sneakers in my gym bag and in the car, and I'm going to walk, 5 or 10 minutes every day. Or, another one that I think is important is dental health, and we should all be flossing.
Yeah.
And so, I'm going to put a cup or something of flossers on the counter in the bathroom. That's going to help you have that mental image of to think, oh yeah, that's right, I want this to become a habit.
That's right.
So I'm going to have them visible. So don't just say, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Have a plan for how you're going to get to putting it into your
Yeah, you get
life.
the tools for it, and then you put them in a place where you can't miss them.
Right. Right.
If you can trip
It's
over the gym
reminders.
bag, that's cool
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Speaking of that, I have those little flossing things, and I have one on the table next to where I sit in the living room, just because that's what I do when I'm watching TV.
So it's a
It's
that's
crazy.
a habit. Yeah.
But it works that way.
And it's a habit.
And the habit also is, to me, I've talked to you about this more than a couple of times, to make a habit become one, for me, is to put it on a calendar and put it with a number 1 next to it, so that anything else that comes along for that day has to follow that. It cannot take that place in that. And it really works. And you basically make a date with you or your buddy, and it's there. You aren't going to break the date with them. Why would you break it with you?
And some habits are, we're talking about how to put habits into our schedule, but I think it's really important to talk about how do you get bad habits out of your schedule. So you might be so used to, smoking is one that we talk about.
For sure.
And with, next month, the Smoke Out Day, we talked about having a focus on that. But again, it's making a plan for how you're going to either get a habit into your life or how you're going to change a habit. Because you have control. Nobody else has control. And you make that choice. So I think your idea about putting it onto the calendar is really important because it becomes a reminder. If you have it in your calendar, you have it on the phone, you have it in your car on the dashboard, it doesn't matter where it is, but something that you can identify with.
Visual.
So that it reminds you of, oh yeah, I want to do that. And then,
Well, if you don't, that's how you perpetuate the I'm too busy thing, because everything else fills up that block on your, if you're like me with an old-fashioned paper calendar. And then you have no room to fit in what you really should have put first.
Right.
So
make it a priority.
Yep.
Make it a priority. And then, so you have the reminder, then you're trying to get it into your routine. So that becomes the action of actually doing whatever it is, whether it's flossing, exercise, changing your diet, getting more fruits and vegetables, and whatever that is. And then we also talked a little bit about how that you want to make sure that if you don't succeed, doesn't mean it's permission to give up. And you shouldn't kick yourself hard. You just have to have a way to rebound or get back into a way. And one of my things is that I'm not going to miss it again. So a recommendation might be if you're exercising 3 times a week and you go 2 and the third one you miss for whatever reason, I can't miss the next one.
Right, 2 in a
Because
row.
I can't do,
Then that becomes a pattern of missing.
Exactly, that's the different
2 in a
habit.
row.
Right,
I mean, you have a do and a don't.
right.
To get the healthy part, you have to get the unhealthy out.
Right.
If you're going to quit smoking, you're quitting smoking because you're going to replace it with much more effective exercise if you aren't smoking.
Right.
It sounds easy when you've done it. It's not easy.
It's not easy, and it takes time, and that's why it's really important to reward yourself or give yourself a pat on the back, or when you do succeed because you've gone a week for whatever your habit is that you've put in place, is to celebrate that. And oftentimes it's natural to be more negative than positive. We think the worst before we think the best.
Yep.
And we should be celebrating us and our successes and achievements and not beat ourselves up because I didn't. It's easier to go backwards than it is to go forward. So
Totally. The other part, when you say beating yourself up, that's what happens with a lot of people that want to start a program of getting into the gym and you beat yourself up a little bit out of guilt that all of a sudden it looks like it's all about me. And you haven't done that. It's been all about them. And I had that happen with me when I did some training, and I thought, this is a fair amount of time and money. I don't know if I can feel good about this. It didn't take me more than one session to feel really good about it. And I said, the heck with this guilt thing. But that does happen.
It absolutely does.
You're not used to it. At a certain time in your adulthood or motherhood or whatever, parenthood, God, can't be politically incorrect. You just have to put everyone else first.
Yeah.
And if you don't keep yourself healthy in all the ways we've talked about wellness, you're hurting your family or hurting yourself and others. So,
you know, and the other thing too is you want to make your habit be obtainable. So start small.
Don't set yourself up.
That's the other thing we do. We set ourselves up for
Yeah.
failure. And why do we do that? I don't know.
I'm
I
going to
still
go 3
haven't
miles
figured it
around
out.
the track tomorrow. Sure I am, if I've
Yeah.
never walked before.
Right, correct.
And then you feel like a loser.
Yeah,
And
I'm
you
not
don't
going to go back and do it again.
Right.
So it's that vicious cycle. So it's really about setting something in small doses. So and being realistic. That if you know, a lot of times now people have their trackers, their devices.
Yes. Oh.
In the industry, it's a standard. We always hear the 10,000 steps per day.
Right.
Well, you know what? That is not easy
Not everybody
for a
can
lot
do
of
that.
They cannot do it. So why set that out there as the norm or the
Yeah, it's a
standard?
lot.
It's a lot. Everybody's different. Everybody's schedule's different. So it falls back to what we were talking about earlier about you're going to be different. I'm going to be different. Everybody else in the audience is different.
Right.
You have to be realistic to set a goal that you can reach, but don't make it too easy.
No, start baby steps, but
Yeah.
then start
Yeah.
increasing
Challenge
those
yourself.
steps on a regular basis
Yeah.
so that the 10 minutes of walking becomes at 15, 20
Right.
fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Because you obviously are able to.
Right.
Why not? You don't want to stay at that 10-minute forever
Right.
because your body will just get used to it.
Yeah.
And it won't be as effective.
Yeah, so really make sure that you put, you know, a reachable, obtainable goal. So if 5,000 steps is for you or 15 minutes for you, whatever it is, and celebrate that. At the end of the week, I did it every day, and then you may even say, I actually did more.
See?
I can do this.
Yeah.
I can challenge myself. And then you set the next goal, and now it just becomes natural. There's no barriers. There's nothing in place stopping you from doing.
Right.
You found the time. You found the way to do
and you
it.
didn't die doing it.
You might have missed one. Okay,
We're
no
all
big
human.
deal. It happens. That's life. But that doesn't mean we should stop and kick
But
ourselves.
if you aim to have it as your first priority that makes a calendar,
Yeah.
you will do it. You really
Absolutely.
won't let too many get missed, or you just get out of it altogether. Then you say, I don't want to start all over.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of mental game playing with yourself.
it's a mindset.
It is.
It really is a mindset.
is.
And you have somebody that is going to be, you know, I keep going back to that buddy, but you have that accountability to your buddy, but you also have accountability to yourself.
Right.
And if you make that commitment, you got to hold yourself to
And
that
that's where it all
commitment.
began, doing something
Right.
for yourself.
Exactly.
So don't let yourself down any more than you would let. I mean, think of a date with yourself if you don't have a buddy. I'm not going to let myself down by not showing up.
Right.
I'm going to go and do it.
And work, you know, talking about the way life is, how work gets busy, and people find that, you know, I'm too busy, I'm overworked, I can't do this, I'm taking work home, I'm going in early. There's all kinds of reasons why people will say,
Right.
I can't change a habit or whatever. Well, it could be one of your habits. You know, that I'm not going to work past 10 o'clock,
Right.
or I'm not going to do work before 7 a.m., whatever it is,
Yep.
so that you have that work-life balance. And that is important for yourself. And we haven't even addressed the sleep issue. I mean, well, let's even go down that road with sleeping and how that is a habit and getting that
But the
into
person you
place.
just described is the person who will end up totally stressed. And, you know, people that
Right.
never get off the grid and never put the phones down, so that they're up at 7 with a screen, they're up till 10 with a screen, and they don't get any relaxation.
No.
And part of one of the habits we've talked about is relaxing, mindfulness, taking time to just kind of sit with yourself alone in some quiet part of the house and just do some deep breathing. If you can find a mindfulness program, even better. But if you can just sit alone, dark or light, whatever, and just be present for yourself.
Right.
And deep breathing. And you have to be concentrating on that breath when you're doing it.
Yeah. It's really important to find time for yourself. And, you know, I do hear a lot of folks that say they can't. And really getting them to start putting things down.
Right.
And building that habit. It's all about whether you really want to or not.
I think that
it
shows
really comes around to it.
if you want to do something, you fight for the time to do it. It's simple.
And when things happen out of our control, that we have to take care of this event or that event or whatever it is, we do make the time for it.
Right.
Something else has to give. And nobody is more important than yourself. And if you don't take that time for yourself every day, it doesn't have to be a lot of time.
No.
But you're absolutely right. Just disconnect, defuse, think about nothing. It really is.
I do it regularly and I enjoy it.
That's
because
awesome.
But it's just something you come away thinking, wow, I really let myself down, my hair down. I just really felt relaxed in that moment, whether I was or wasn't terribly beforehand. It works.
It does work.
And you can do it anywhere.
And you'll find your whole body just relaxes because you're not uptight, you're not stressed, and it's the breathing that helps just the whole body.
It does.
Just settle, it settles.
And you tune
really.
things out. It's absolutely physiologically true that when you're trying to do a very serious deep breathing a few times, when you're thinking about so much about the breathing, you aren't thinking about it. You can't be thinking about all that other stuff, or you don't do it right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a forced lack of distraction.
Right.
So it's cool.
And yeah, it's interesting talking about that because I'm very A-type for folks out there
Really?
that know me. You
I bet none of you knew that.
I'm very A-type. And I would never be able to be hypnotized. Well, I should never say never. But
Well, you'd fight it all the way.
I would fight it all the way. But I've started to really focus on making sure I had time for myself because it is so important what you're saying.
Is.
And just step away from life. Step away from
Get out
everything.
of the kitchen. Go in the bedroom, shut the door, no one else comes in. It doesn't matter where you are. You can do it out on the lawn. It just you and you. And
we owe it to ourselves and the people around us. When you say step into the bedroom, you know, you've got your family. You've got lots of us have family, kids, activities, things going on. And if we're going to be good for them, we need to be good for ourselves.
It's true.
And it's really a cycle of making sure that all the pieces are in place.
When I did
circle.
mindfulness, I did it seriously for quite a while to get really comfortable with it. And the first time I saw a relative of mine, in quite a long time, she said, "You're different." And I said, "Ew."
Is that good or bad?
What are you giving me?
Yeah.
She said, "No, you're just different." And it's sort of a softer kind of different. I said, "Yes."
It works.
Well, I mean, I'm glad it was noticeable because it was
worked.
Noticeable to my husband. It was noticeable to my kids.
Yeah.
It was just less anxious,
Right.
less in a hurry to do things, and just more eager and better at relaxing.
And now it's a habit. It's
Now
part
it's a
of
habit.
it's part of your routine, and that's the other piece that I want people to really think about is some people get scared about habits, you know, but really it's about routine. You know, you get up in the morning, you plan whatever your day is, you look at your calendar, and it's just making it part of your routine.
Yeah.
And having it be consistent. It's really what a habit is.
Consistent's a big word in everything we're talking about.
Yeah.
That when we're going to get more deeply into eating and other stuff, it's consistency or it doesn't work. It just becomes a sporadic, oh, I have produce every now and then. No, you want to get to a place where you're having it regularly and you're craving it. And that will happen if you do it enough for all the right reasons.
And the other thing is to get support for what you're doing. So whether you're changing a habit to be healthier or changing a habit because it's bad and you need to change it, having support from people around you is going to help you be more successful.
Definitely.
So you want to let people know that, you know, I am adding this into my schedule, and how can my routine or something change? How can you support me, or what can you do to help me? Or if I'm quitting smoking, you know, please understand this is important to me, so I'm going to be changing my routine, and I need your help and support. And that's part of the whole package of the picture, is knowing that there's other people
And that's where
helping you.
peer pressure comes into it. We have peer pressure as adults. And that's
absolutely.
where some of these behaviors as young kids get out of whack, because they don't have support when they know the right thing to do, but no one around them is doing it.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to extricate yourself from a group that's not healthy, but so they stay with it.
Right.
I think you need support for the smoking. I was a smoker. You need support for the eating, because you want to have the right foods in there. You don't want a lot of the bad stuff in the house if you can help it.
Right.
So you hope that other people will get on that train with you.
Absolutely.
So, and I think people are usually willing to.
Absolutely.
Why would a friend not want to help you?
Right.
With a good change.
Yeah. And that's really about it, communicating and getting. I liked your phrase when you said, "Get on the train."
Yeah.
It's so, as we see here, trains going
Yeah.
by.
I hope the audience appreciates our background music.
We love it right here.
We have the best train music out there.
Yeah.
I wish our producer Emily wouldn't play it all the time, but she likes to get to us.
But yeah, it's really about getting people on your train, and you want to surround yourself with people that have the same mentality, the same philosophy, the same goals, because that's where you're going to get your train to move further, faster, and get up that little engine that could.
If they're
Yeah.
fighting you all the way,
Yeah.
it makes it so much harder to not cave and go back to where you were.
Yeah.
If people are, it's cheerleading. It's all the positive things you can do for a person, friend, relative. And if you're out there kind of, you can do it. I have a granddaughter who was brought up hearing, you can do it. So now she'll go to a game and she'll cheer classmates on, you can do it, friend. You can do this. And she was brought up with that, and she lives that.
Yeah. If you believe it.
It's a great way to look at anybody's
Yeah.
activities.
Yeah, I totally am on board with that.
Yeah.
It's, you know, you hate to be cliche and say the rah-rah, but that's exactly what it is.
And we need help a game.
And we need more of that
Yeah.
to really help people and get them to think that positive steps forward, and that it will take time. It takes time to put habits into place.
Yep.
But bottom line is, if you really want something bad enough, you're going to make it happen.
And you don't want to let yourself down. You don't want to let all those supporters down
Right.
who have been right there with you from maybe during a very difficult change.
Yeah.
You don't want to suddenly say, I went off the wagon. And one is fine, and they'll help you get back on.
Right.
But if they decided they can't do it and are walking away,
Right.
you don't want to let people down. None of us really want to disappoint people.
No, we want to feel good.
Yeah.
Feel
So
good about it.
if they've helped you get somewhere, you want to stay there.
Yeah, yeah. So it's really, you know, the 3 R's.
Yeah, I like your...
Think about the 3 R's. Think about a reminder. Somewhere, somehow, have a reminder.
A sneaker in front of the door will help.
Yep.
After your trip.
Yeah. That goes into our balance and fall
that comes
session.
Into
We'll talk
ER
about that.
trips.
Trying to stay out of the ER. And then routine.
Yeah.
So making sure that sneaker gets away from the door and into the car becomes routine.
Right.
And then reward yourself for doing whatever you did, and, you know, cheer out loud, put a star on your calendar, you know, call somebody and say, I did it, whatever it is that you reward yourself, and don't beat yourself up, and have those 3 R's, reminder, routine, and reward in place, and also have a backup plan that if you don't do it,
how are you going to pick yourself up?
How are you going to pick yourself up?
Because you know you were on the right direction, you just didn't make it the whole time.
It took a little detour. I'm
I
coming
think-
back around.
Yeah, and routines, for me, my world is called ruts. I mean, I have things I absolutely have to do, foods I have to eat, different things I have to, those are ruts I'm in, having been old enough to achieve that. I don't veer from them. They become, there's almost an addiction to certain
routine,
things.
yeah.
And exercise certainly
Is one
can
for
turn
you.
into that. Food's an addiction for all of us, but if it's the right food, then you can be addicted.
Yeah, so let's challenge our audience out there.
Yeah.
So people are going to think about a habit.
This is your homework.
This is homework, and we want you to report back in to us. So what is it and what habit that you want to have in place, whether you're going to start exercise, change your diet, floss more. I love that one.
Yeah.
Find something that really resonates with you, because that you've got to believe in it and feel it, so it's got to
Light a
resonate.
little spark inside.
Right. And then, or maybe it's something that you're going to stop doing. You know, like some people click their knuckle or snap their knuckles or whatever it is. And make a commitment, make a plan, make a goal, and put it down. Put a reminder down. Figure out what your routine is. It's not, I'm going to exercise every day. I'm going to put my sneakers in my car.
Be specific.
Be specific with your plan.
It's so broad that it's easy to walk right through. You just.
And then most importantly, celebrate you and reward yourself.
There you go.
Right?
And don't feel guilty about doing something for yourself. You came first.
Right.
You came before the hubby. You came before the kids. Go back to you.
Go back to you.
Wow. Guess what?
No.
We're done.
No. Oh.
That was the whistle. That was
our train whistle.
That
was our
time's designed
up
on
whistle.
a schedule to give us the warning.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, give them your website again, please, because
Yeah.
Patty is developing a practice of coaching and wellness.
Right.
And it's interesting stuff. You should look it up.
Yeah, so wellnessgameplan.com, and I also have a Facebook page for Wellness Game Plan, and really looking forward to hearing from some of the audience with ideas, suggestions. Would love to work with people to help you establish your habits.
Yes,
if
she
you're
will work with you.
Yeah, if you're struggling, I'd love to help you with that. And so wellnessgameplan.com is where you can find me, and look forward to it.
And please remember, we love input.
Yeah.
Good, bad critiques.
We've got
topics.
We've got the future out
We
there.
got lots of time to do lots of topics. We need help, though. Sometimes we dry up every now and then. We haven't yet.
No.
I don't think it'll happen right away, but I think we just want to do what you want, because that's why we're here for you. So thank you all very much for watching. We appreciate you out there, however many there are. We never know,
Oh, no.
but we're pretending it's a couple hundred.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's growing.
100.
It's growing.
It's
We
growing.
do know that.
So anyway, let us know, and our info is on the screen, and you'll have lots of ways to reach us, and we have ears. We love to listen to your comments. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.